Alrighty, well, a very, very, very happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of the Throw-In here on May the 8th of 2023. I'm excited to be with you, Justin, here for the next 2 hours to kick off the beginning of the week, and I'm excited. Hopefully, audio and everything is good. You know, we did a show back on Monday of last week. I had the show figured out, ready to go for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But then just things after, things after another thing stacked up. And every day I found myself struggling to get a program on. And, I've been doing really well with the programs as of late. I've really been enjoying the type of product that I've been displaying out here, and I really take a lot of pride and pleasure into putting the best product that I have possible, in surrounding me. So I want to apologize for the last 4 days last week not doing a show, and I feel terrible for you guys. I really do, because I want to be here. I want to do a program, and I want to give you guys content. We missed out on a lot of great conversations, such as the WWE draft and, the WWE Backlash, which took place back on Saturday, NBA, NHL, the Cincinnati Reds over the weekend, and all that fun stuff that we talk about week in and week out. So it is Monday. The temperature is much more acceptable, and I'm excited to be here on the program today, giving you guys a 2-hour product, and hopefully we can continue this throughout the week. I do have a couple of doctor's appointments tomorrow, so honestly, that's kind of going to be, I don't know, I'm going to try to get a show in first thing in the morning, but I think we're just going to have to wait and see what, comes of the day, to be honest. I know after this gonna talking to some family members, maybe go hit a lacrosse ball game, which I haven't really actually been to a lacrosse event, so I'm kind of excited to see what that's all about. And hopefully, if the weather holds up, we will be definitely capable of getting out to a ball game like that. It's kind of interesting because for the past week, the weather has been up and down, left and right, and kind of all over the place. If you think about it, trying to anywhere from raining and cool to hot and humid, and all that stuff. It started raining last night, over the weekend, earlier last week. And a lot of the reasons why earlier last week I had trouble putting on a program was for the simple fact of not being able to get great service because of the temperature, because of the weather and the weather inclement. So that's the only downside that I truly honestly have when it comes down sometimes to put on these programs. But you know what? It is a Monday. We're back at it as well. Hopefully you guys had yourself a wonderful weekend like I did. I had a pretty well invested weekend. Ended up getting the girls Friday afternoon. They went to, they had a couple of ball games on Saturday, and I went to my oldest ball game, which started mid-morning, and then that transitioned into, the afternoon. My youngest went to her soccer game, and then we went to and then it was my fiance's sister's prom night. So it was all excited for fun events for there on Saturday. And then while, my fiance's sister went to prom in the afternoon, decided to, take both girls down to or up north to Kings Island for the first time this year, which they recently opened for the weekends only as the weather and as summertime approaches. And then we went ahead, and so they had fun. It's difficult because, as the wife is pregnant, she can't really necessarily do any roller coasters. So, and then with me and my lower back injury, I can't get on a roller coaster. It's just something that I'm not capable of, unfortunately. So it was a bit bummer because my oldest, she's at this stage of transitioning between kids rides and early, adult rides, which, it's one of those, she gets disappointed because neither, me or the wife can get onto the rides with her on the adult rides that she wants to ride down out there. So she's kind of stuck doing either she's tall enough to do rides on her own, or she has to ride whatever her sister rides. And then Kings Island also implemented a few weeks ago, because of an incident, implemented a rule or a policy where after 4 p.m. anyone at 14 or under has to be accompanied by an adult that's 21 or older. And so we just don't want to give or put our kids in that position where, all right, well, you want to give them some freedom, but you can't let them go too far because you don't want them to get into trouble. So, it all worked well, on Saturday afternoon. Went back, kind of took a day yesterday to relax, clean the house, get ready for the week and stuff like that. So kind of a relaxing day. Played some games, watched the movie, and that's kind of how the weekend went. So, and getting ready for this show, I was excited to get ready for this show. Like I said, it kind of bums me out when we have not been able to put on a product and do this and do that. So we're expected to have a show the rest of the week. Hopefully that follows through. That's the only thing that I can wish upon this. All right. So last Monday, I want to kind of quickly, bring this up to you guys again, because we haven't really gotten a whole bunch of, have a whole lot of chance to talk about it, and we'll talk about it definitely. So last Monday, I actually went out and did something a bit unique to say. Just waiting, I guess, for everything to load here. Oh, come on. All right, so I did something a bit unique in the sense of trying to grow the product and trying to grow the brand a bit. And the one thing that I came across was putting together a web page. And so I kind of want to share it with you guys here. If I could pull it up. And I showed you guys a bit this yesterday or last Monday. And I would like to show you guys this again. All right. So let me just get the camera steady. However, there we go. All right. So we officially threw in put together a web page thanks to Podpage. And every audio episode, matter of fact, everything is available on this webpage. You could simply access this webpage by heading on over to, there we go, let's do that. If you head on over to www.tncsportstalkshow.com, that is www.tncsportstalkshow.com. And I think that this is a unique page, and we're excited. So, this is the home of the page. We have a couple of events going on talking about Enlighten Studios and the Italian Festival coming up next month. So you're going to be seeing this. And if you scroll down, you'll see all the recent audio platforms, the ones such as back on last Monday episode. All the episodes up here. You can scroll through. We also do blogs. Talked a little bit about the draft. Was gonna do something about um, the the WWE Backlash. I just didn't get a chance to put that in enough time. Stuff like our merchandise page down here. If you guys want to be a guest on our show or rate our show, contact information, our Facebook, Twitter, TikTok account that you could follow, all this fun stuff. So this is the homepage. If you click on the follow, it'll give us all the audio platforms that you can listen to this product on that we upload. And then we also got videos. As for example, this one here, just getting underway for today, is available on YouTube. We have the Italian Festival that we'll talk about later on in our program, the Monday episode, the round one of the draft, and all that fun stuff. So this is pretty cool. I like it. You have about the product. You have blogs. Like I said, we're looking to type more out. Takes you to our direct page. But this is our is our official web page to the product. And we encourage you and invite you out to the page. You can see everything that is going on with the TNC Sports Talk Show through this website. And we invite you to come join. Like I said, you guys could head on over to www.tncsportstalkshow.com for all your information. The link is in the description down below as well. So I'm pretty pleased that we were able to put something together like this. I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope this becomes a good use. Now, we're still expected to grow as a brand, and the way that we're looking to do that is extend some of our audio and services that we go out there. I've been kind of in good relationships. Like I said, our recent one with Enlightened Studios, Terry Chappell, and Enlightened Studios has a wonderful foundation, and there is a family-based corporation that brings people in, help them grow, and release them back out to this real world here to really expose themselves and get all this practice on. And like I said, we have this Italian festival we'll talk about here later on in our program. Well, they get a chance to go out and do this and do that, and we'll hopefully, if all of our ducks lined up in a row, we'll get a chance to go broadcast live out there. That's something that we're looking forward to. It's in about a month, June 8th through June 11th. So hopefully we could get more on that as that time comes. So, this is just a start. And if you guys want to take a part of it, communicate down below. Let me know. Get into the conversations. If you guys want to become a guest on our program, shoot me up a message on there. I'm checking it every day, trying to make the most of it. So that's what we have in store going on with the webpage, something that was breaking last week, worked all weekend last weekend to get it up and running, officially got it going, and I'm proud of it. Probably the biggest thing that I'm proud of. The problem that I have with that, when you try to make individual content for something, or you try to work on these projects, it kind of takes you away from the actual booking project or process. So we're still growing, and hopefully things kind of still start panning out over the next few weeks as we grow. All right. So what are we talking about today? Well, hour number one, I got to talk about the WWE Backlash. What is your thoughts and predictions on the event in Puerto Rico over the weekend? And we got to talk about that. And I want to know, we're going to get down into some conversations. We're not going to cover each and every match today of the program. We got 2 hours. We got a lot of things to talk about. But I want to pick a few of them that kind of really resonates with me, to be honest. So we'll go ahead and do about that. We'll talk about that, the process with that. We'll get you an NBA and an NHL update, followed by the Cincinnati Reds, who dropped 2 of 3 over the weekend against the Chicago White Sox. And it's kind of disappointed. Things starting to de-scramble and fall apart for the Redlegs. And, they made some decisions. They made a couple of acquisitions. and transactions over the weekend. So we want to break that down. And there's a couple questions that I think we talked about it previously on Monday that we want to resurface again coming up today. And I think it's one of those questions is it's time to pull the plug and start inserting our minor league team up here in the big leagues. So we'll talk about that here today, give you coverage and updates on the Cyclones and ECHL Kelly Cup playoffs. And we'll get you guys ready for Monday Night Raw tonight, which is going to be the beginning of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Now, I got a lot of opinions. I got a lot of thoughts on that. And I will tell you that I'm not the happiest camper right now after they revealed the 12 men that will participate in this tournament. So I'll explain all about that in today's program. We're just getting started on a Monday. If you guys are watching us over there out here on YouTube, we want to thank you, welcome you, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Be sure to have those notifications on. Don't forget to don't miss a single episode. How about that? If you guys are following us and watching us on our Facebook or Twitter page, we welcome you. Hit that like button, share it with a friend. Let us know that we're live for 2 hours. Get involved into the conversations by leaving us a comment down on the YouTube page and get involved. I want to know what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. Your voice is definitely heard on this program. If you guys are listening to us on audio platforms, hey, we like you. We like it. We thank you. We welcome you. All that good stuff there. So let's go ahead and take a timeout. When we come on back, we'll dive right into the WWE Backlash, everything that took place 48 hours ago, and much more. We're just getting started here on a Monday. Thank you guys for tuning into the Throw-In here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Alrighty, 221 here on the program. Want to give a big shout out to StreamYard Studios, the proud home of the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel, where you can create podcasts, videos, host virtual business meetings, and even conduct interviews. For more information, check out StreamYard.com. They also got a free version going on over there. Also want to give a big shout out to Epidemic Sound. Discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find the perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts. Epidemic Sound is a royalty-free music. For more information, check out epidemicsound.com. Alrighty, happy Monday, and welcome back to the Throw-In here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Justin here for the next 2 hours, and I do want to let you guys know that if you guys have not seen WWE Backlash quite yet, okay, I will let you know right now there are spoiler alerts, and I advise you guys to stop what you guys are doing, pause this show, and watch Backlash. And when you get done, come back and listen to what we have to say about Backlash. And I will be the one to tell you that I didn't necessarily watch Backlash from start to finish on Saturday. I was out with the girls at Kings Island, and I actually watched bits and pieces of WWE Backlash on Sunday morning when we woke up. Kicked off with it was Bianca and Io Sky that we'll definitely talk about. Then I saw a little bit of Austin Theory defending his United States Championship against Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. And the one thing that I tried to do on Saturday, which helped me because I was out and about and I couldn't really focus on my phone, so I couldn't see social media. I got home, I was tired, this and that. So my thing is that I did not pay attention to social media to see a tremendous amount of spoiler alerts. Now, I don't know if that's because WWE or people didn't, Sportscadia didn't spoil it right away, because normally they're pretty good at letting people know on social media who won right away. I think the only thing that I saw was Austin Theory retaining on social media, and that was it. So I think I felt that I did pretty good with, disciplining myself and not, you know, being invested into the results until I actually watched the product. Now, I did not sit there and watch the last two matches, which was the Bloodline taking on Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens, and I did not watch Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. I'm still planning on going back and watching those matches so that later on this week we can have full-on conversations of how we felt the match went. But I do know the results here. So let's go ahead and share with you Saturday's WWE Backlash from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And like I said, if you guys have not watched it, I recommend pausing this program, going back to watch it, and then coming back so we can have these conversations. And so kicking things off, I believe it was Bianca taking on Io Sky, and Bianca defeated Io Sky. Of course, we saw Damage Control, as in Bayley and Dakota Kai, come out and get involved. And we'll have that conversation here in a bit. We saw Austin Theory defend his United States Championship against Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. Seth Rollins defeated Omos. Rhea Ripley defeated Zelina Vega. Bad Bunny defeated Damian Priest. The Bloodline beat Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. And then last but not least, Cody Rhodes conquers the Beast as they main evented the evening. So one of the questions, I thought it was a pretty good night. I mean, this is the first PLE after WrestleMania. And we didn't see the Tribal Chief. But what we did see was that we don't need to see the Tribal Chief be at every event. And I'm okay with that. He's obviously taken a new direction in the company. He's going to be on SmackDown. And hopefully, Paul Levesque says that he's thinking of alternating PLEs every other month, or Raw and SmackDown, however they want to do it. And I'm totally fine with that, because in this case, it gives other talent opportunity to showcase what they're capable of. And the only way that we're going to know and understand and, see if an athlete is ready for the big time. When I say the big time, I'm talking about someone who's ready to main event, or to even be on the main, the main event a show, or to be on the actual, PLEs every month. And then, it's to get in. First of all, they got to get in-ring experience, get in front of those crowds during live tapings, but, on TV and in front of the home stands or home crowd, build that fan base, whether it's a baby face or whether it's a heel character, it don't matter. You gotta put them out there. And I think one of the indications was, and I still stand by this, and I had to agree with, I forgot who said this last year, but it takes about almost 3 months to see if someone is capable, with the character that they have, is capable of holding a crowd or not. And so you got to be patient with them. But, revolving back to WWE Backlash, we did see some of that, right? How often do you see Io Sky get a PLE booking? Nonetheless, an individual booking. It's great to see these tag team fractions run through the WWE and fight together and, do everything together. But, to see Io Sky, who has, I think, a lot of potential, could be an amazing single competitor. And matter of fact, I see a future, WWE champion at some point. She gets her spotlight in that moment against, the EST Bianca Belair. And I thought that was pretty amazing. We also saw Zelina Vega I know it was more so a home crowd that the reasoning behind that she gets a title opportunity. But you know what? When you go on and you face someone as talented or someone who's clawed their way to the top as Rhea Ripley, and you can go on and put on a show and put on a match as good, the reason, this was a home crowd match for Zelina Vega, for example. And what I really liked about this was the involvement of the sold out arena. It took every single one of them, and with that momentum, with the crowd behind each and every match, and that, trust me, they were behind each and every match from start to finish. There was no dull moments of crowd reactions throughout this event on Saturday, and because of that, I think that, for example, Rhea and Zelina, their match went maybe from a typical Friday night as maybe a 2.5 or a 3-star rating to a 4-star rating because of that. Same thing with Io Sky and Bianca Belair. We also saw the opportunity of, Damian Priest taking on Bad Bunny. And for a moment, Damian Priest has not had a lot of spotlight moments where he can showcase his talent. And it's honestly, over the last year, it's been a shame because Damian Priest was a former United States champion. He was working his way through the top. And, then he joins the Judgment Day. And I feel like a lot of his work, he still shows incredible talent in the ring. But, a lot of his stuff with the Judgment Day has been kind of stale. And to see Damian Priest say, all right, we're gonna take this storyline that, we once teamed together at WrestleMania, and now I'm gonna carry you through the match. And Damian Priest carried Bad Bunny through the match, and it worked really well. He did a really phenomenal job. So Backlash on Saturday, and thanks to the fans, honestly, showcased a lot of up and coming stars for one, and a lot of stars that don't normally get a PLE push at the end. So, Backlash, I think, was well perceived. I think overall, although, I'm more of a person that likes to see the PLEs in the United States, but right now, what's best for business is if you go take it across seas, like they're going to Saudi Arabia at the end of the month for Night of Champions. We're going back to our origins in the WWE, which kept WWE alive for the longest. The United Kingdom and Canada and Mexico, and being able to go to different parts of the country or of this world, really brings the best out of our fans. And if you really need to find locations and hit the spots that you're going to get a pop reaction, because I will promise you now, right? Saudi Arabia, and I'm not saying that it's a bad place to have a PLE, but Saudi Arabia is not going to have the reactions that Backlash did in Puerto Rico. So we went through the match. I was kind of looking at the match card, and one of the matches that I really, truly enjoyed was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest and the San Juan, Puerto Rico street fight. And there was some conversations. And there were some conversations leading into what match should have main evented Backlash on Saturday. Should have it been Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, or should have it been the Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar match? Now we already know that Saturday's already passed us. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar main evented the match, the event, and I think how the match card was presented, because they didn't waste no time, and I don't think that it was interesting watching this card, because they did not. Not only they weren't wasting no time with matches, they got in there and they got out, but they also wasn't wasting. They weren't dragging matches out. They kept matches, Go in there, tell the story, get out. And I mean, I really liked it because you had one after the other, after the other. And then we get down to Bad Bunny, and then we get down to Damian Priest. And what I really enjoyed about this match was how Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, really took the fight around the arena and controlled majority of the fight. I want to say about 3/4, if not 5-6% of the fight that Bad Bunny and Damian Priest did it solo. And what I liked about it is that, yeah, we saw Judgment Day and we saw LWO. We'll talk about this more in this next segment. But then we saw, the return of Carlito and Savio, Vega, come out there. But they all pushed everything to the backstage, and then they circled back around to just Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. No one was at ringside until after the match. And I think this it hit the nail in the coffin here when it comes down to completing this match. And I couldn't believe that this wouldn't have been a perfect match. Not only Bad Bunny and Damian Priest took it out of the ring into the crowd, went through a couple tables. Bad Bunny did his fair share end. And, I'm not normally one to be acceptive or to be excited about celebrities competing. I wasn't necessarily at the beginning huge about Ronda Rousey coming in from UFC or Logan Paul coming into the WWE or even Bad Bunny when he came into the WWE. I wasn't quite big about that because you just don't know what they're capable of. And you know what? Ronda Rousey, I was skeptic for the longest time, but you know what? Whatever she does pretty well. And she brings seats, she brings people in to watch, and she's, enjoying every moment of it. And, she's worked safe enough where I could trust her in a ring in a match. Logan Paul took me a while, but yeah, you can't deny what he's capable of doing. And Bad Bunny is the same way. For a guy who probably doesn't look the part, he doesn't fit the part, he doesn't sound the part, to fit into the WWE ring, I kind of feel like, oh wow, I'm a bit shocked, a bit flabbergasted. And you always get worried. But you know what? I think it's also key and important to surround these guys around wrestlers who know them, who can work with them for months and make sure that everything works smoothly. So that was honestly my favorite match of the night was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. I'm glad that they allowed everything to happen and none of it was rushed. What I also then enjoyed, it wasn't the last match. Okay, because then you got a chance to get serious again, right? It's great. WWE went to Puerto Rico. They had this premium live. They go on and they have this incredible show. You're highlighting Zelina Vega. You're highlighting Bad Bunny. You're highlighting Carlito and Savio Vega. And that's all during the show, right? So you're getting excited for these things. But at the end of the day, WWE made it about WWE. WWE brought it back to the universe side of things, not just a country side, and they brought it back down to reality. You had this incredible 6-man tag match, and then you had a one-on-one match between Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar to cap off the night. And I felt like that is perfect. I had no problem where the match card could have been. Hey, listen, I would be the first to say, I wouldn't mind to see Bad Bunny, Damian Priest be the main event. But if you would have saw that, I would have thrown Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes up front. And I think right now that feud was too juicy enough to throw up front. So, it would have worked, I think, either way. I don't think you could have really went wrong with how the match card did. And I think they nailed it. They kind of built you up towards it. And like I said, a lot of the success on Saturday at WWE Backlash had to be because of the crowd, the interaction of the crowd, right? So, it's probably going to be one of the premium lives that I look back on at the end of this year and be like, you had WrestleMania night 1, night 2. We had all the controversy over the last few weeks in the month of April that was kind of made, I think, fans skeptical of what could be happening, and they made it all, and I think it paid off. I think it paid off more than what what it could have been, and I think this is only a good direction for the WWE. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, we're going to start talking about some of these matches. I want to talk about Bianca Belair taking on Io Sky for that Raw Women's Championship, because Io Sky had another performance of a lifetime, and I think that can't go without being noticed. So we'll talk all about that here. Heading to the bottom half of hour number 1, you guys are listening to The Throw-In on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Alrighty, welcome on back here. NBA basketball, NBA playoffs continue tonight. We got the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Squares off at 7:30 p.m. Miami leads 2-1. And tonight at 10 p.m. we got the Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Lakers, as the Lakers have a 2-1 lead over the Warriors. All right, welcome on back. Internet is, I don't know. I'm just. Come on. All right, let's try to fix that. There we go. We got, it is just, there's a lot of things kind of just going back and forth, in and out. So I apologize for the Monday delays and everything that has happened so far. But hey, we're talking about WWE Backlash. And I'm going to mention this again, and if you guys are tuning in and has not gotten a chance to watch WWE Backlash, I recommend pausing this program, heading on over to Peacock, watch WWE Backlash, and then come back and join us, because we're talking about the review, the aftermath, which ultimately leads in to tonight. So let's go ahead and do that. But before we do that, let me give you this quick promotional ad. We got the Italian festivals coming up here, beginning off in June with the Italian festival from June 8th through the 11th, the Taco Festival from June 23rd to the 25th, and then the Celtic Festival from July 14th through the 16th. Enlighten Studios will like to offer their hand and ask for volunteers. Volunteers are accepted today by heading on over to enlightenstudios.cincy@gmail.com. That is enlightenstudios.cincy@gmail.com. Sign up today, keep your tips, whole bunch of incentives and more, several time slots more available. You got to also reach down to our website by heading over to www.tncsportstalkshow.com for more information. So be sure to check that out. All right, let's talk about some more WWE issues. We talked heavily about Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. My thing is, real quick, leading it off to Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, is that I think it's simple. The Judgment Day has not really been on this fire, you know, spiel as we expected it to be. I was really hoping that the WWE would sit there and be like, well, let me rephrase that. I really would have hoped that the Judgment Day would have had a WrestleMania to remember. And the only person that really has had success since the beginning of this year has been Rhea Ripley. And I feel like that was given. That was long overdue. But I really expected maybe the Judgment Day to kind of start filling in the shoes on Raw that the Bloodline is not going to be able to because they're drafted to SmackDown. And I felt prior to WrestleMania, this WrestleMania would have been the perfect opportunity to have Dominic Mysterio defeat Rey Mysterio and to also have Finn Balor take on and defeat Edge. And we saw these two matches go a complete 180. And I felt like the storyline for both of these matches provoked both Finn and Dominic winning. And we talked about this throughout the month of April. Damian Priest has that opportunity to, I would say, make a come up, right? And really get behind the win column for the Judgment Day. And I know that's difficult to see or to say when you are facing a celebrity like Bad Bunny who has in-ring experience, and part of this storyline with LWO and being in Puerto Rico, I get why Bad Bunny won, and I really enjoyed it. But this honestly does not do anything for the Judgment Day. As a matter of fact, for Finn, for Dominic, and for Damian, they take 10 steps back. And in our number 2, when we talk about this new World Heavyweight Championship that will be crowned on May 27th at United Champions in Saudi Arabia, we see 2/3 of the Judgment Day participate into this tournament on Raw. And I'm going to talk to you about that. And I don't quite believe I could understand the case for one athlete, for one of them. But for the other one, I just don't quite see why he would qualify to participate when there's other guys on the roster that are more qualified than the guy I'll be talking about. So that's coming up in our number 2. So, but I feel like the Judgment Day is kind of taking steps backwards into the success that they should have. And what it's doing for me, I'm losing their credibility to be a dominant force on Raw to be reckoned with. And when you see teams like the Viking Raiders and you see, teams going over, Imperium, for example, you expect the Judgment Day to be superior over them two when they can't win matches when it matters the most. And that's at WrestleMania and Backlash. They went 0-3. Very disappointed of what the Judgment Day has been able to do overall. You know who else I'm disappointed in, to be honest, is Omos. He lost to Seth Rollins on Saturday. And there's bits and pieces of the match that I liked. You had the crowd into Seth Rollins singing his theme. And I thought that was incredible. Okay. But I want to reemphasize one thing. Omos needed this win more than Seth. And if Omos is a free agent, I don't know exactly what the plans for the WWE to utilize Omos. I mean, if you're, and this is maybe more in depth on a later date, but I would consider maybe, right now I could see him, WWE try maybe pushing him as a future title opportunity. But see, for me, Omos is now coming off 2, not 1, but 2 major losses in the month of April are all within a month span. One against Brock Lesnar, who, by the way, Omos called Brock Lesnar out and lost. Omos also called Seth freaking Rollins out and lost. And now for me, I throw my hands up and say, what do you do with Omos? He's 0-2 when it matters the most. And he's supposed to be this big dominant giant who's a free agent, and everyone is supposed to be scared of this guy? No. Come on. That's a laughing matter. Why would I be scared of Omos? Because he can never beat these two guys. These last two matches Omos has had at a Backlash and at WrestleMania would have been huge wins if he could have found himself in that World Heavyweight Championship tournament if he would have won. And yet again, he loses. And I'm like, we talked about taking steps back, you guys. This is taking steps back as now he becomes, in my opinion, irrelevant. Is there something that I don't know? I mean, I know Brock Lesnar's contract's coming to an end. I know that there's a possibility that the WWE is not going to re-sign him and not going to pick him up. I get that. I also, understand, and we'll talk about this hour number 2, but Drew McIntyre's contract coming up, and I understand that. But realistically, where's Omos? You're losing his credibility, in my opinion. And for me, there's a reason why Seth Rollins is going to be a part of this WWE New World Heavyweight Championship tournament that begins tonight on Raw. And, I hope he does well. I think he's a great in the title picture. But Omos should have been in it. He should have picked up a victory. And now I guess I'm lost. I guess one of the questions we should be asking ourselves, is it Omos's fault for losing, which I know he's in the ring and he's doing all the work, or how much of it is it because of MVP? Is MVP a bad manager? That is not a good question. Another good question. I did like, we talk about the negatives from Backlash and the negative people losing at Backlash, such as the Judgment Day, Damian Priest, and Omos. I know Io Sky lost, and Bianca Belair defends her, defeats Io Sky and retains her Raw Women's Championship. But the conversation is not Bianca Belair. The conversation is Io Sky, because, we finally get to see Io Sky one-on-one competition. And this was another moment where, majority of the match belonged to Bianca and belonged to Io, and really had Io Sky highlight her abilities to hold herself together in a match. Now, listen, very impressive to me. And in my opinion, I'm confident in if Io Sky goes out and has another great, run at some point, and I'm going to call it. Now, I know what we saw, and what we saw on Saturday was damage control. Bayley, Dakota Kai attempted to come out and help Io Sky when she was down. I didn't think that Io Sky needed much help. And then we saw Bayley grab onto the hair of Bianca, but the referee saw it, and it ended up, I felt like that ended up costing Io Sky an opportunity, because that split second just kind of ruined it all. I guess, here's a good question. Did Bayley cost Io Sky the Raw Women's Championship? I've seen Bayley over the last few weeks been very supportive, even though she has not gotten what she's wanted. She's been very supportive, and especially in trying to help Dakota Kai and Io Sky get opportunities. And this Friday night on SmackDown, Bayley and Dakota Kai have an opportunity at the Women's Tag Team Championships, as they will take on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. But one of your questions, you have is dated back to Saturday. How much of Damage Control's interference costed Io Sky a championship opportunity? And, I'm not trying to pick bones or not trying to, fluctuate this and that, but it was kind of interesting because I thought the match went very well when Bailey and Dakota Kai, even though we expected both of them to come down and try to, hold on to their shenanigans, we saw, I was a bit disappointed. It kind of brought me down, and I really honestly, I felt terrible. I really didn't like it. So WWE Backlash. We will continue the conversation throughout the week. We will continue the conversations, especially heading into SmackDown, because there was a lot more to talk about, especially about the bloodline and what Solo Sikoa and the Usos kind of encountered back on Saturday. But hour number 1 is all said and done. We got to head to hour number 2. And by doing that, we got to talk about the Cincinnati Reds. Those Reds, they give you such encouragement. I think it's fair to say that it's time to move on to this minor league roster, to this roster that the Reds have projected by the end of this season. And that, 17 runs, it's just gut-wrenching. And I know there was a lot of high scores yesterday, more so than not. So we'll talk about that. NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs as well. We'll take you a trip to the ECHL as the Cincinnati Cyclones are down 0-2 over the Toledo Walleyes. Much more still to come. Hour number 2 coming up here on the program. You guys are listening to The Throne on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Hour number 2 is given to you thanks to Spreaker from iHeartRadio. Spreaker is the audio platform of the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel and the Throw-In. You guys got to bear with me for a second. I think we got things working again. Yeah, I want to apologize for the difficulties that we're kind of running into here. But I want to give a bit of shout out to Spreaker.com, proud home of the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. From iHeartRadio, we upload all of our major, all of our audio platform shows, all of our programs get uploaded to Spreaker, and it distributes across all the major audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, much more. Able you to see analytics on your podcast and monetize your podcast. So more information, check out Spreaker.com. This is what Monday gives us on the program. Just not audio problems, but internet problems. And I hope that at some point, I guess we could get all that fixed. I ended up opening up my nose. during the commercial break. So want to apologize for that. For if you see any nose bleeding, hopefully it dies down here soon. All right, we got a busy hour number 2 here. Let's kind of get you around the horn. All right, what's going on here? All right, let's just get right into it. Let's start off with the NBA playoffs as the Boston Celtics fall short to the Philadelphia 76ers 116-115. The series are tied now 2-2 as they have an off day today. Denver Nuggets fall short to the Phoenix Suns 129-124. That series is also tied and they will have off days as well. All right, game number 4 for both teams tonight between the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Square off tonight, first game at 7:30 p.m. and then the nighttime game at 10 o'clock. The Golden State Warriors take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Both Miami and the Lakers lead their series 2-1. And I saw a post on was the other day on social media about this dog predicting the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers. And they said that the Lakers will go up to a 3-1 victory and then fall short to the Golden State Warriors as they will come back. And it's kind of interesting because that's how Golden State Warriors took advantage of the first series against Sacramento. So we'll see what happens in that action. All right, over with the Stanley Cup playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes fall short to the New Jersey Devils 8-4. Seattle Krakens beat the Dallas Stars yesterday 7-2. And the Toronto Maple Leafs fall short to the Florida Panthers in a final score 3-2. Let me kind of just pop up here real quick because the Hurricanes currently lead the Devils heading into game 4 in 2 days. 2-1. Florida leads Toronto 3-0. And the Seattle Krakens lead Dallas Stars 2-1. Tonight's ball game is drop pucks at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, where we will have the Vegas Golden Knights take on Edmonton Oilers at tied series. So some NHL playoffs going underway. Also, some more playoff actions here as we take you down to the Kelly Cup playoffs. And we are in the divisional round of the Kelly Cup playoffs in the ECHL division, where Newfoundland and Reading have a game tomorrow night, 7 p.m., as Newfoundland Growlers are up 2-0 in the North Division Finals. The South Division Finals here in ECHL Kelly Cup playoffs. Game 1 belonged to Florida, taking on Jacksonville. Final score 5-2 and then game 2, Florida took a 4-3 victory. So Florida carries the lead over Jacksonville 2-0. Their next game will be on Wednesday at 7:30. In the Central Division, with the Cincinnati Cyclones taking on Toledo Walleyes, the Walleyes are up 2-0 as the next game will be on Wednesday in Toledo. In the Mountain Division Finals as well, Idaho takes on Allen. Game 1 was yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. Idaho beat Allen 5-4. Their next game is on Wednesday. And then they'll play on the 12th and then the 13th back-to-back games for game 3 and 4 if needed. So that is a quick around ECHL. We'll have college updates here tomorrow on the program as we try to cut back to an earlier program. Turn off. I had the AC running all weekend long, but turned it off this morning. Supposed to be in the low 80s. Gonna try to have it off until at least the evening times. I don't know. How do you guys run your AC? Because it's kind of warm right now from where I'm at, where I'm broadcasting the program from. And I have this tiny tabletop fan, thinking about transferring one of the fans out here throughout the day to circulate. But I have the windows open. It feels decent. And but I know it's going to get hot. And I remember last year we were cranking the bill up to like $230. And I know maybe for most it doesn't seem like that's a lot, but that is quite a lot, to be honest. But you know, we need to I want to make sure to try to keep the cost down. So some fans, and don't want to be sweating on the program. I feel like that's going to be an embarrassment. So we'll have to see what happens. But if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Probably going to try to pick up one more fan for the living room to oscillate. Then we have all fans in one in each and every room. Well, all of this is an attempt to avoid the Cincinnati Red conversation as they drop Sunday's game 17-4 in a series that I really did believe that the Reds had and they could have took. Bit disappointed in the Reds this weekend. A couple of things kind of changed, right? So injury-wise, they reinstated Will Myers from the IL as they released Matt Reynolds. They designated Matt Reynolds to assignment, so he'll most likely become a free agent. And then also, as of yesterday, Javier Sanmartin was left the game with an elbow injury. So, I guess so. Here's my take on this. The White Sox beat the Reds 5-4 on Friday. They lost to the Reds 3-5 on Saturday. And I thought this was going to be an interesting game heading into Sunday, but something kind of sparked in my attention heading into this game, especially considering everything that they did the night before, the way that they were going to look into this game, and the overall concept of they were moving Luis Cessa down to the bullpen. And the initial thought of everything was, okay, we're going to work ourselves with a 4-man rotation with Luis Cessa being dropped down to the bullpen. And the concept was that so you could provide extra help to guys like Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, Hunter Green, and even Luke Weaver throughout the week when necessary. And okay, so I'm a fan of half of this decision, and the half of this decision is Luis Cessa going down to the bullpen, because Luis Cessa, for me, has always been a bullpen type of person. He proved it to me last year. And I'm not saying that he can't start a game, but I feel like Cessa is more of a 3-4 inning guy. So he makes sense if you're going to have a bullpen day every 6 days in that sense, to have Luis Cessa come in, pitch you 3-4 innings, and then get to the bullpen, in the 5th. What Cessa could be doing now as, listen, even the great pitchers, right? The Randy Johnsons, the Ryan Nolans of the world, the Max Scherzers of the world have bad days. We've seen it. And it's just ironically that right now our starting pitching is having that type of moment where they're having bad days. It seems to me that these Reds can never just get on the same page. It was first the bullpen that was having issues. Then offensive at power was having issues and not being able to score in runs. And now it seems to be, the starting rotation that seems to have some issues. And given there's some injuries already taking place, but, an average ball game, you're expected to score 4, 5, 6, 7 runs. And the Reds this weekend put up, 13 points compared to the original. They were preventing 5 runs, 5, that's 8 runs to their 9. And then something went completely wrong on Sunday where they gave up, 12 runs in the first 3 innings? Man, it just seems to be one thing after the other, right? But even our good pitchers are going to have those type of days where you can't expect them to pitch lights out. Darvish doesn't do that. Shohei Ohtani, I think, is the only exceptional pitcher right now in Major League Baseball that can go every 3-4 days and pitch you 6-7 solid innings and secure you a win based off of the bullpen and your offensive reaction. So my point is that we're trying. David Bell has to come up with an idea. Connor Overton is still out on the IL list. So what are the other solutions? We know Luis Cessa is that bullpen guy. Revere San Martin goes down, so that's going to create some issues. But maybe it is time. We talked about how long the Reds are going to take before they consider throwing these young guys that are building down in the minor leagues up to the main roster. This was the conversation at spring training that this was going to be the future of the Cincinnati Reds. How, throughout the course of this season, we're expecting the Reds and their roster to change completely. And I think we're sitting here, solid 6 weeks into the season, and I think it's time to start making some of those transitions. We see Ellie De La Cruz back in that lineup, Christian Encarnacion Strand back in that lineup. We're also seeing Matt McClain hitting bombs. All right. So right now, the way that I see this roster needing to start being developed, it starts now. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolu, Graham Ashcraft, Luke Weaver. Throw in a fifth guy, either in Andrew Abbott or even, Brandon Williamson. All right. Get them the work that they're going to need. Get Andrew Abbott for up until spring break, or not all spring break, excuse me, the All-Star break, and then switch and put Brandon Williamson in the other half of the season. Let's see, how long are we going to hold on to a guy like like Jose Barrero? I know the initial thought was to give him, a couple months to say, all right, this shortstop position is yours and take it however you want to take it, but let's do something special. Well, guess what? It's not working. So why can't we throw in a Matt McClain? We are eventually going to see these guys come up. And my thing is that if we're going to suck this year and we're going to, be this damn bad this year, then we need to see them. I'd rather be this damn bad with the guys that are expected to be on our roster 2025 up now, grinding through, getting in the work, and taking care of business and growing and learning with the ball game. That's what I want to see, right? Let's see these guys come up through the system and up now, because these are the guys I'm going to go pay, especially, and these guys are going to have to learn eventually, and I'll go pay to watch them. I would. I'm not going to go pay Jose Barrero striking out twice at the bottom of the lineup and making simple errors. Now, one guy before we cut to break, I do like and I do want to give kudos to. So this one guy has impressed me so much so far what he's been able to do this year. Although I think this is the impressiveness, I think, is average to what he's actually expected of producing, is Nick Senzel. I really did not believe Nick Senzel would be this flexible and this, provide so much contribution to right now when the Reds are winning ball games. He's playing from center field. He's playing some third base. Spencer Steers jumping over to first. And I'm liking this. I really am. So kudos to Nick Senzel. Whatever the future lies for Nick Senzel, I wish him the absolute best. But man, I mean, you do have to enjoy what is being given from this ball club. And it just seems like their struggles right now is that starting rotation. So they're getting ready to take on the Mets starting tomorrow in a 3-game series. We'll cut to break, and when we come on back, we'll take you a look at the NL Central standings and what's going on around the NL Central over the weekend and what's coming up this week. I also want to get to some questions in regarding to the NFL. One of the questions I want to get to is what team should be at the most pressure in the AFC North? And so that's one of the conversations we have. We'll talk about that all coming up next here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Already some NHL Stanley Cup playoff action today, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. Puck drops at 8:30 p.m. All right, welcome on back here to the throw-in. And let's get right back down to business here, talking some National League standings as we take a look here today. As of today, the Pirates, who dropped seven consecutive games, their record goes to 20-15, still holds on to the first place in the NL Central. Milwaukee Brewers are half a game back, 19-15, as the Chicago Cubs follows right behind them, 7 at 500, the 2.5 games back of first. The Cincinnati Reds, 14-20 coming into today. 6 games out of 500, 5.5 games back of first place. And last but not least, the St. Louis Cardinals, shockingly snapping a 7-game losing streak yesterday, picked up a victory. They moved to 11-24, 9 games back of the NL Central. I feel this is kind of all, up in the air. I mean, I don't quite know how long those Pirates are going to be able to hang in there in first place. Definitely the last week of gameplay has not been what the Pirates have been able to put up, at the beginning compared to the beginning of the season. Milwaukee, Chicago. I'm wondering if St. Louis will ever take care, get back on track this year. It's interesting. They haven't been this far out of first place, ever since Yadier Molina was on the ball club for the last 16, 17 years. And I've never seen the Cardinals in dead last. And this, 3 games, 4 games behind the Reds. I say the Reds, let's not, get too, ahead of ourselves. Reds still got a lot of work to do. But this is not necessarily a good-looking division. I know the record states otherwise, but over the last week or so, it has not really been quite interesting to watch, to be honest. And kind of a weekend series here. The Cincinnati Reds dropped, one of 2 or 3 against the White Sox. Chicago took the 2 series over Miami, 2 out of 3 games. Toronto they swept the Pirates, with Sunday's victory being 10-1. St. Louis broke their losing streak yesterday, putting up 12 runs against the Tigers. It's about the same amount of runs that the Tigers scored in a combine of Saturday and Friday's game, as the Detroit beat the Cardinals Friday and Saturday. Milwaukee dropped 2, picking up Sunday's victory over San Francisco. So a lot of teams, other than the Cubs, all the other teams kind of looked pretty notoriously bad in the NL Central. Hopefully they pick it back up. They're expecting this division to be just so ungodly terrible throughout the course of things today. And I'm a bit bummed to see it, but hey, it's I guess let's captivate. Let's go back to look at this standing quite again. All right. We're 5.5 games back. Let's go back and try to do something. We're not out of the woods yet. It's only May. But this is the reason why we ask ourselves, should we start considering, or you know what, not even considering anymore. Should we just start, all right, we're going to bring up these guys one by one every couple of weeks, give them a couple of weeks to, to acclimate to the big leagues, adjust, and then let's bring them up, bring the next one up. Because if we do it that way, we can't go out and say, oh, we didn't try, or, we're not making the progress. Let's not do it at the very last second, though, right? So that's kind of where I'm at in all of this. And, we're not far off, and we have a long season ahead of us still. I mean, we got the Yankees later on this month, and I would like to have some sort of chances against the Yankees in a couple weeks. So we'll get ready to take on the New York Mets tomorrow. But today, the NL Central has a couple of games in store for us. First game is at 6:35 between the Colorado Rockies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. At 7:40, we'll have the Dodgers in Milwaukee to face the Brewers. And then the Cardinals taking on the Cubs at 7:40. It's going to be a good divisional game. I believe this is the first time this year that the Cardinals and Cubs will square off in a 3-game series. All games will be a 3-game series. So today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, the Mets and the Reds will be in a 3-game series. That will extend until Thursday before they hit on the road. So I will say here, in this sense, the road series, right? If you're looking for baseball action, the Cardinals and Cubs, but I'm looking for the road series. Last 3 games at home against the Mets. We have to find a way to take 2 of 3 against the Mets. I mean, I know that they're kind of struggling in their own way. I believe they're in 3rd place in their division, but we got to find a way to take on and do. We didn't get a chance to have a good weekend against the White Sox. We're going to have a good weekend against the Mets and kind of split the 6-game homestands. We have to find a way. And that's all I can say about that. And hopefully with this day off, it kind of helps. All right, the NFL is going to release their schedule for 2023 this Thursday at May 11th. I'm excited for this, especially after the draft. This is part 2 of the excitement in the month of April and May before the season actually gets underway. We start talking about the schedule, who the Bengals could be projecting to face at some point this year. With the new guy, new records around, and a couple of the the question is, about guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, who they're going to have to face this year. And the NFL is working really hard to put some really good matchups together. So I'm excited for this upcoming schedule release that will be this Thursday, May 11, 2023. Hopefully it's early in the morning, because that way, or midday, and that way we can break it down as it comes down and have that conversation with you guys. But we'll see. Talking about that, I got to know. All right, so Lamar Jackson's been in and out of the news. He just got done signing a 5-year contract with the Baltimore Ravens after the Ravens drafted Zay Flowers and also picked up Odell Beckham Jr. And I'm sure that that's not the, end of the Ravens predicament and trying to pick up some key players to help the Ravens get back to, winning ways. But over this past weekend, I felt a huge gut-wrenching, like my gut just dropped when it came down to just kind of sitting and now pondering what the Ravens have heading into this season. Lamar Jackson finally explained the reason why he requested a trade last season. And that was because, and he claimed that it was all part of business. Apparently, according to Lamar Jackson, he knew he was going to become a Raven. It was just the win factor, and you kind of, when you're on the swing of, all right, this is the contract we want to give you, accept it or not, where you're going to have to be like, yeah, I want more. So how do you push the lever for them to be like, all right, we're going to give you more? Well, one of the ways that you can do it is by saying, hey, I want to be traded, right? And I think as a reporter who doesn't have that inside scoop, as a fan who is on the outside looking, on this side of the stage, you do kind of get skeptical. It's like, all right, what's going on? What are we going to do? Is Lamar Jackson really going to be on a different team? In reality, behind closed doors, maybe the Ravens know about this, maybe they don't know about this. For Lamar Jackson and his, agent, we're in the mix of, all right, we have to, figure, let's kind of push the envelope and try to get something out of this. We want more money. This is how we're going to get more money. We're going to throw in the situation of being traded into the mix in order for this to happen. And maybe Baltimore knows, hey, we knew we're going to get him. He wants more, and this was going to work out. Either way, it worked out for the best of things. And I think it's just kind of a bit scary if this was how things were going to go down regardless. And it kind of honestly upsets me because I understand that Lamar Jackson is going to be a Ravens. And for me, this was the only uniform I see Lamar Jackson wearing. I don't see any other team he would have gone on. But now you think of the three, he had everyone fooled. There was a lot of people that were fooled. Maybe Baltimore fans were saying, nah, he's gonna be a Ravens. All right. Maybe a Chargers. Oh, cool. He's going to get traded. Let's see who he gets traded to. As long as he doesn't get traded to an AFC team, we should be fine. Maybe the Commanders would have been like, cool, he's available in the market. Let's see what we could do to pick him up. Right. But if you're the Browns, the Steelers, or even the Bengals on this factor, right, you're kind of like, okay, what's going on? Is he going to get traded? And if so, let's trade him out of the division. And we're almost excited because he's leaving, and they're butting heads, and they're having so much controversy. And they're, Lamar Jackson potentially being out of Baltimore. Great, because we know what happened when he wasn't playing. But then you get into the conversation, but then we go sign. It's like, oh man, we got to deal with him again. Now, listen, I love the good competition. But I thought this was going to be definitely a big division change. But now with Lamar Jackson back suited where he's at the best, we know he's going to play each and every game. One of the biggest problems that I have, who's under more pressure? I think Cleveland's not under pressure. I think Pittsburgh, as long as they stay above 500 football, they're not under pressure. But who's under more pressure right now? The Ravens or the Bengals? Take a look at the Bengals, for example. Right? This is coming on contract year for Joe Burrow. Obviously, the Bengals are wanting to keep Burrow. They strongly believe he is an asset to this team, and he's the franchise quarterback to this team. To keep Joe Burrow, you're going to have to give up some players, and we've seen that this year during the offseason. But to keep Joe Burrow, we're going to have to sign him to a contract that no one, and we're going to have to top not only Jalen Hurts, but now we're going to have to top Lamar Jackson. In Cincinnati's minds, is Joe Burrow worth more than Lamar Jackson? Absolutely. Joe Burrow never won anything yet. Yeah, he's won an AFC championship. He's went to the AFC championship. Great. He went to the Super Bowl 1 year. Is that worth paying him more than Lamar Jackson? And I think so too. So the question is, who is pressured the most in the AFC North? I mean, is it the Cincinnati Bengals who is trying to so hardly stay up in the AFC North? And I really felt that there was a clear wall saying, you got the North, Cincinnati, the Bengals. If Lamar Jackson and Baltimore still had this issue. But now, since this issue is claimed, how nervous are the Bengals worried about the Ravens? And if the Bengals are not, should they be worried about the Bengals? Because they just added Odell Beckham. They just added a youngster in Zay Flowers. But let me turn the table. Should the Ravens be under pressure? All right, you picked up Lil Jackson. You done your due diligence and picked up Flowers and signed Odell Beckham. If you don't go win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years or next 2 years, which means you're going to have to overcome the AFC East. You're going to have to overcome the Cincinnati Bengals. You're going to have to overcome the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you're going to have to overcome whoever's in the NFC. Who's under pressure? Is it the Bengals needing to stay alive in the AFC division and saying that they're still remarkably better than the Ravens? Because right now we haven't seen. Right now, I'm not convinced that they're better than the Ravens for what is compared onto the field and what they're capable of putting the product on the field. I'm not confident that the Bengals are better than Baltimore. So the question is that type of pressure, or I think maybe the Ravens, hey, we locked this and set A, B, and C. You're due up. Are you ready for? You have to contend and you have to go win yourself a Super Bowl. Would it be a devastation if they go out over the next 3 to 5 years and be like, well, we couldn't win a Super Bowl after taking this leap of faith? I think the Bengals and the Ravens are both in a cry for a little bit of help to figure out, under pressure. They're definitely in two different standpoints, right? Fork in the road of Bengals got this direction, Bengals that Ravens got that direction, but they both are on deep, deep pressure. All right, last segment of the program. Let's come on back. Bottom half of the program. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about this World Heavyweight Championship tournament. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am not too pleased about it. We'll explain why next here on the Throw-In, available on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. Alrighty. Well, Monday Night Raw is tonight on the USA Network. The draft has been officially separated. And both Raw roster and SmackDown roster will head over to talent will head to their respective roster. That's what I will say. And we will see a new image of Raw, which I think this is great. It's a great opportunity. But the new World Heavyweight Championship tournament has been broken down. And I got a problem with it. And I want to tell you all about that here after this. Alrighty. Thanks to Enlightened Studios, we are working on broadcasting live from the 2023 Cincinnati festivals that are taking place throughout the month of June and July. We got 3 festivals going on, and this first one that's coming our way, June 8th through June 11th, is the Italian festivals. Enjoy great foods and beverages, and don't forget the live music. It's great for the community. And because of Enlightened Studios is partnering with the festivals, and they are running campaigns to try to get volunteers to come out and join, provide the service, show what an amazing, great Queen City of Cincinnati is all about by volunteering today. You volunteer today and get to keep your tips. If you guys are interested in giving back to the community and wanting to be a part of these festivals and make some, enjoy the experience, reach out to enlightenedstudios.cincy@gmail.com. That is enlightenedstudios.cincy@gmail.com. So there you go. All right, sorry about that. And also want to, while we're here, just to wrap things up, want to invite you back to our webpage where you can find this program, audio and video, plus all the other fun stuff going on at the TNC Sports Talk Show website. Head on over to www.tncsportstalkshow.com and check it out. See what we're all about there at our program. All right, we got to talk about this World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Okay. Which is going to be tonight. So if I'm not mistaken, okay, so first of all, the draft has been committed, has been officially done, said and done with. Last week has been the biggest thing. Okay, so my Apple Watch is talking to me. So, all right. So this is, people were drafted to SmackDown. People were drafted to Raw. It was cleared that whatever brand Roman Reigns and the undisputed WWE Championship went to, that the World Heavyweight Champion will go to the opposite brand, from my understanding. Right? Which means the number one draft pick of the 2023 draft belonged to Roman Reigns. And so now that means the new World Heavyweight Championship would be on Raw, which will be crowned at Night of Champions May 27th in Saudi Arabia. But according to this weekend and what the WWE announced, the tournament and how this tournament was going to work. And we see 6 contenders from Raw, and we see 6 contenders from SmackDown. So let me give you that list, okay? We will see from Raw Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, The Miz, and Cody Rhodes. Okay. We will also, from SmackDown, we will see AJ Styles. Hold on, I want to get to the AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Edge, and Sheamus. So from my understanding, is that they're all going to compete in this tournament, which begins tonight on Raw. And the winner of this tournament is going to be concluded on May 27th and be crowned the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, first of all, my question is, if this was supposed to be directly if this was supposedly be now issued to Raw, what in the world are we thinking of having SmackDown contenders compete for this World Heavyweight Championship? So you're telling me that if one of the 6 members on SmackDown wins this World Heavyweight Championship, then we're going to see them on Raw after they just got drafted to SmackDown? Doesn't make sense. So once again, it's AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Edge, and Sheamus on SmackDown, taking on, and then we'll also see on Raw Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, The Miz, and Cody Rhodes. So let's look at this list for a second, because we're now, I guess, accepting this list. All right. So okay, let me get down to the Raw, right? Let me go down to Raw. This is what I don't understand. There are guys that I understand that makes this list. Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio for sure. Edge, okay, I see it. Sheamus, fine. But the one person from SmackDown that I don't see necessarily reason why he needs to be on this list and considered into this tournament, and maybe the only reason why he's on this tournament is because he won his triple threat match against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed back on Saturday, is Austin Theory. What makes sense of having Austin Theory win it? Because you could flat out know from off the bat that Austin Theory is not going to win this title. I can't see it possibly going to Austin Theory as long as he has this United States title. So what's that deal? I'd rather see Bronson Reed, who is on the Raw roster, compete for this tournament. All right, I can vouch and explore the reasoning why these other 6 men could earn an opportunity at this World Heavyweight Championship, but this all violates the whole concept of having a Raw, this title being on Raw. It's either that these 6 men aren't going and they're just filling it in, or you're going to have this title. If one of them go, they're going to Raw. My problem is, all right, is that the whole Raw needed this movement. They needed this title to be unique, special. SmackDown did it back a couple years ago in 2016, and that gave SmackDown that edge and that push. You know what? Raw did it a couple years ago. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, they created the Universal Champion. Well, they're creating this new champion from Raw, and for a 3-hour program, that honestly they've been slacking a little bit because of creativity. They need this push as much better more than Raw. But you see, okay, let's look down the line. All right, who else do we not see capable? Seth Rollins, I could validate for. Shinsuke Nakamura, I could validate for. Finn Balor, I could validate for. The Miz, yes. Cody Rhodes, absolutely. The only person I really don't think that should be considered, Damian Priest. Why does he belong on this list? Like, what makes him eligible to be on this list? Okay, like in all honesty, he's lost. He just got done losing against Bad Bunny. Finn Balor lost against Edge. He shouldn't have been considered. I'm looking through the Raw list right now. If you're giving me 12 members, Apollo Crews, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, okay, Cody Rhodes. Let's go ahead and throw in Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor. If you're gonna throw in, so. Let's go back through this. Apollo Crews, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest. We're just throwing in the mix. Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Gunther. If you're throwing in any champion, it should be Gunther. Okay? I got 8 right here right now. Johnny Gargano for, 9. Kofi Kingston. If not Xavier Woods, one or the other. Okay, Matt Riddle fits the bill. All right, let's go down. Ricochet. That's 12 right there. Sami Zayn. Okay, let's keep on going. Shinsuke Nakamura. Seth freaking Rollins. The Miz. If you're putting it to me, I'm going to write this down. I really do. We got 12 men that I think can go. Let's go. Apollo Crews. All right. Let's go. I like Bronson Reed. That's 2. All right, let's go scroll down. Cody Rhodes. And Damian Priest. That's 4. We got Drew McIntyre. That's 5. Finn Balor. Gunther. That's 7. All right, let's go down. Who else? Throw in
Johnny Gargano,
who won at NXT TakeOver.
Matt Riddle. Who do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I got 9 guys. Let's keep on going.
I mean, Seth Rollins is 10. We got Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's 11.
The Miz is 12.
There you go. 12 guys right there. You know, and here's my purpose for saying this, is that these 12 guys that I just got done mentioning all can deserve an opportunity at this title. And just imagine what type of opportunity you're providing for someone like Apollo Crews, who had a good NXT run against Braun Breaker. Let's talk about Bronson Reed, who's kind of making an impact as a big guy on the main roster. Damian Priest out the window just to throw in there. Cody Rhodes, yeah, okay. Drew McIntyre. I understand that there are some controversies and there are some conversations about Drew McIntyre's extension and when his contract expires here soon. But even if he doesn't win, he plays a huge game. And let's say you guys were considering trying to come up to some sort of agreement and re-sign Drew McIntyre, wouldn't it be an influential thing saying, hey, we're going to throw you into that title picture? Even if you're on the way out, throw you into that title picture. Let's kick you out. Let's get you out of the company as strong, as powerful as much as possible. Gunther is a guy who's done incredible things over the last few months that deserves to be in that title picture. Johnny Gargano, NXT, Grayson Waller, great things. Matt Riddle, Shinsuke Nakamura, The Miz. So my point is that there are talent on the main roster of the Raw roster that is capable of coming up to of showcasing and having a chance at this World Heavyweight Championship that we don't need to fill in the blank with SmackDown characters. I'm sorry, you're judging SmackDown, go to SmackDown. Figure out what you're going to do over there. Go after Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Edge, Sheamus. Go after Roman Reigns. Stay away from Raw. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. But this is what we're going to have to see tonight on Raw. Raw's tonight, 3-hour program on the USA Network. The aftermath of Backlash and the follow-up on the new World Heavyweight Championship tournament. All right, that's it. 2 hours of the program. We are done for the day. We will come back tomorrow and do another 2 hours. We'll talk more WWE Backlash. We'll give you more thoughts and conversations around sports, leading stories, all that much more. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And be sure to tune us in next time. You guys are listening to The Throw-In right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.